The war in Ukraine, Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin in that high-stakes visit to Kyiv, landing in Poland and traveling by train to Kyiv with the shades pulled down for much of that journey. Tonight, there's strong words for Russia and Vladimir Putin, what the Defense Secretary said about making sure Putin and Russia would not be able to do what it's done in Ukraine. ABC's Marcus Moore reporting from Kyiv tonight.
Tonight, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov with a chilling warning. The risk of nuclear war is a real one. Speaking to state-run media, Lavrov said, quote, "The danger is serious. It is real. It cannot be underestimated." He added that he did not want to see these risks of nuclear war, quote, "artificially inflated." The warning came after a high-stakes visit by top American officials with Ukrainian President Zelensky in Kyiv. After the trip, U.S. Defense Secretary Austin was blunt in discussing U.S. goals.
We want to see Russia weakened to the degree that it can't do the kinds of things that it has done in invading Ukraine.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Russia has already failed in its original goals for the war and announced more assistance, including more than $322 million in new military aid for Ukraine.
We do know that a sovereign, independent Ukraine will be around a lot longer than Vladimir Putin's on the scene.
And today, President Biden said he would nominate veteran U.S. diplomat Bridget Brink to serve as the next U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. Today, Russia unleashing new attacks on at least 5 railway stations and fuel sites across central and western Ukraine. But inside Russia, a massive fire engulfed a fuel depot in Bryansk, 60 miles from the border, seen in video circulating online. It is not clear how the inferno started. Outside the capital in Kyiv, some fear the Russians might return.
The heaviest fighting has moved to the east, but amidst the devastation here in Irpin, locals tell me they are concerned that the Russians might try to come back to the city, but they say they're not afraid, that they're ready to fight.
I asked Ferdowsi and Andrei what they thought of Secretary Austin and Blinken's visit to Ukraine.
Blinken and Austin приехали сюда, в Украину. Что вы думаете?
Both said they are grateful and that without support from the U.S., it would be hard for Ukraine to stand up against these monsters.
And so let's bring in Marcus Moore live from Kyiv tonight. And Marcus, we're learning more at this hour actually about the high-stakes trip by Secretaries Blinken and Austin, how they got there.
Yeah, David, we learned from a senior State Department official that throughout much of that trip, the shades were drawn on the train. So Secretary Blinken and Austin really didn't get to see a lot of the war-torn country on the trip. But those railways, David, have been a lifeline for families fleeing the fighting here in Ukraine.
Marcus Moore in Kyiv for us tonight. Marcus, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos.